your local market, because that's what I really work to help you do, is figure out how to own and control. If you need a pen or anything, there's some in the little pink little buckets. Help yourself, because there's going to be some juicy little gems that you're going to want to hold to. For those who don't know me, my name is Carrie Jeffries, and in one way or another, I have been an entrepreneur, a multi-passionate entrepreneur ever since I was a little kid. So I have had multiple businesses over the years, and I currently have a business, I'll talk a little bit more later, about called Bold and Sassy Solutions, and I am a business strategist for all intents and purposes. So today we are going to talk about dominating your local market. But first, what I want to start out with is what I have seen over the course of time of working with many business owners and interacting with a lot of my business colleagues of what is really stopping a lot of business owners. And it comes down to a handful of things that I've noticed. One, they don't have any list. Two, you hate marketing. Oh my God, that's going to be a problem. Three, suck at sales, because you're really good at what you do, but you kind of just suck at sales because it has to become something that you study. Then there comes my real favorites, trying to be everywhere and everything to everybody. That just never works. And then my most two favorite is build it and they will come. No, they will not come. That was just in that movie. They will not come. You have to actually invite them and you have to be noticed. And then also I love the one where it's the spray and pray. That's the, oh my God, please let somebody find me, let somebody do some business with me. And those just never work. So it comes down to a few real problems. And here are the three core real problems that I see that it breaks down into when you get to the base level is fear. Now, we don't nearly have time to unpack that baby because there's all kinds of stuff around that crazy ass fear monster for sure. Two is the resourcefulness. People think they often have a resource problem. You don't have a resource problem. You got a resourcefulness problem. And then three, that there's no proven strategies. And this is a really big one. You know, that goes to that spray and pray or to whatever, or to being everywhere, because there's no real proven strategies. Now my favorite, what do the experts or the gurus tell you to do? These are really like real faves. Okay, so number one, what do they tell us? Digital marketing or social media. Oh my God, that's the holy grail, right? That's gonna open up like the whole kingdom. Hell to the no, this is not how it works. Number two, they will tell you to be everywhere. That's my favorite from Gary Vee. Let's just be everywhere and do everything and talk to everybody, different people, working for them, generating all this, and it really doesn't even really make sense, and I can't wait for him to one of these days wake up and see that. And then three, this is what you're told constantly with sales, the 3-foot rule. Every door, every floor, let's just talk to everybody. Oh my gosh, there's no way that can work because, again, you've got no real targeting. So what's really going on here, and I'm going to call BS on a lot of these people because here's why those don't work. First of all, when you're going everywhere, doing everything, trying to be everything to everybody all the time, what does that result in? Anybody try to do this? Because I have. Anybody? What happens?
Burnout.
It's inevitable. You know, and I've had a number of people come to me and go, oh my God, Carrie, I'm just doing everything. Why isn't anything working? It's because you hit that massive place of burnout, frustration, and chaos, and now you don't know what the hell works. There was somebody that was like, okay, we're doing all this marketing, but I know only half of it's working. I just don't know which half. So you don't know what to do and what to stop. That goes to the second thing, which is no real targeting. If you don't target, I know we hear this, so I'm encouraging you to listen to this with some fresh ears, because we all know a lot of these things, but if we know these things, why the hell aren't we doing these things? Because we're always looking for the newfangled thing, that shiny thing, or that cool new strategy that's just going to do everything, and I don't have to do anything, it's just going to do it all for me. Nope. It comes down to these basic, simple things, which is no real targeting. And three, you don't have a guiding plan, because you're doing things in a vacuum. You haven't set yourself up for success from the first thing. What I call this is desperation marketing. We're just desperately out there chasing, and how effective is it to chase a rabbit? Because the faster you chase that rabbit, the faster that rabbit runs. It would be much better if you had the right type of thing to draw him in and attract him in so that you could trap it. Heard of shooting fish in a barrel? Yeah, much better to shoot fish in a barrel than try to just go out in the open sea and do that. So, what do you do instead? And here is the magic. On the back is the 4 pillars on the back of the sheet. The front is just for you to write in little notes along the way. But here's the 4 pillars. Here's what you do instead. Number one, before you do anything else, is you have to set yourself up for success. Instead of just kind of haphazardly going at it, you got to set yourself up for success from the very beginning. What does that even look like? Well, what that looks like, first of all, is we have to keep it simple. Again, you're trying to use this tool or that tool or 12 tools, and instead, a lot of times, it just comes down to the simple things, because we're trying to get so fancy pants that we forget the simple basic things. Simple tools. Maybe you have some big giant email thing that does all these super cool things. Are you using them? Because if you're not, you're probably paying for them, or they're just confusing the hell out of you. Just because you can use something or can do something shouldn't mean you should be doing it. So simplicity is your best friend. Again, I know you've probably heard this, but I wonder how many things, because every single business owner I've ever worked with thinks that things are, they're great. But if they're so great, why are you coming to me? Because it's not working. And usually there's at least 1 to 3 things that you can cut out right now from what you're doing that just are not getting any kind of ROI. Whether that ROI is money or feedback or leads or whatever it is, there are things you can cut out. Number 2, you have to have a plan and a target, like I said. Now this is where a lot of people get confused, and it is one of the most challenging things. It seems so simple just to be able to target and pick your audience, but when you sit down to do this, I can't tell you, I don't care whether they've been in business 1 month or 10 years, everybody seems to struggle with this one. I am in the process of redoing some of my things, and I'm telling you, it is seemingly simple but yet so difficult. So all you do is pick the best that you can. You have to target somewhere, because if you're targeting everybody, you really will get nobody. Or what'll happen, like the girl I was working with yesterday, is she's ending up being pigeonholed into a place that she's like, oh my God, how am I getting here? Because I don't even want to be here. Like, I don't even want these clients, but those are the ones who are coming to me. That's because you don't have a targeting strategy, for sure. And number 3, you have to automate. And we're going to talk later that you don't want to automate everything. Because here's the thing, everybody's so busy trying to automate and systemize, and you have to have a system. There's no doubt you have to have a system. We'll talk about that a little bit later when I talk about the 5-star thing. You have to have a system, but if you automate everything, you cannot automate authenticity, that genuineness. There's no way to get around building real relationships. I just posted yesterday, real relationships take real time. You cannot automate your authenticity. And so many people, how many are you doing? I literally just now, a few minutes ago, I got about 12th call from, I don't know, God knows what insurance call that's automated, that think like, how the hell do you think that's gonna work? Seriously? That just violated every single thing that we talked about. That literally is the spray and pray, or the numbers game. Anybody here love playing that numbers game? Like nobody loves playing that numbers game. And there's no reason to. I had somebody say, oh, you should be cold calling. Why? I don't even know if they want to listen to me. Why? They're not even looking for a solution. So those are the things. Number 2 pillar is you have to prime your pump. And here is where the joy really comes in. It makes it very clear and simple. There's a system for priming your pump. Priming your pump means you've got to feed the funnel. I don't think I had that with me. Okay, so I have it somewhere, but nonetheless, the funnel that they tell you is usually like this 75-step long, mile high. Oh my God, can anybody even follow that crap? No. Here are 3 simple ways to prime the pump and feed the funnel. Number 1, I call it your Hot 100. And there's 2 ways to look at your Hot 100. I read an article once that talked about this business who was really gigantic, but they narrowed it down to 1,000 of their most, hot, excited people that they want to focus on. I call it your Hot 100, because you can build $1 million business with either 100 or even 1,000 people. You don't need everybody. In fact, you shouldn't have everybody. The Hot 100, there's 2 ways to look at it. Either as your clients, but usually for prospecting and finding suspects, as I like to call them before they're even prospects, is that Hot 100. What's that list? Who do you want to talk to? Who could become a client? Who could become a good referral partner? Who could help open doors for you? That's really your Hot 100. That goes from that into what I call your Thriving 1000. That's where your list is starting to build. Those are the people that are going to start to not only buy, but to share your message. Your Thriving 1000. And there is nothing you can't do in your business if you get to that 1,000 number. It's not just the numbers game, because it's not just any 1,000, it's the 1,000 that have either done business with you or that are likely to do business with you in some way, shape, or form. That brings me down to the final piece, which is your Power 10. Some people will say 25, but I call it your power 10. These are your big gets. These are people that not necessarily are just going to do business with you, but these are people that are going to open doors in a way that nobody else can. These are the big ones. These are the ones, like, this is your holy grail. Like, who can I really connect with to do like a strategic partnership with that is going to open a door that no one else or very few others can? These might not even be a third connection on your LinkedIn. This could be like, are you kidding me? You know, an example of something like that in the speaking world might be Tony Robbins, or in that social media world, it could be Gary Vee. You know, I have a love-hate with him, 50-50 agreement with him, but nonetheless, that could be your get. Who's your get? And then that's where the next piece, the third pillar, is going to come into play, and that is your 5-star follow-up. I know we've all heard, oh, the fortune's in the follow-up. Well, it's true, but I'm telling you, I cannot even express how many people, this is where they drop the ball. This is the biggest place I see people drop the ball, because it takes time, but it doesn't have to take forever. And that's where the earlier part we talked about, the simplicity comes in. It doesn't have to be complicated. Here's your 5-star follow-up. First of all, one, you're playing the long game. You have to accept you're playing the long game. It can't just be go out there, I'm going to sell everybody. I'm going to go to a networking because I'm going to sell somebody something. No, you're just starting the process. If you play the long game, you'll win. If you try to play the short game, you will end up in frustration, burnout, and probably end up quitting or doing a zillion different things. Number 2, you have to have a system. Now, I like to keep it simple. So how do I attract leads? I don't get some big crazy ass CRM that does this giant millions of things. I use Open Office. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. I created it. You can use a super simplified one, or you can have it out, because here's the truth. You need about 7 to 15 touches, and a touch can be anything from a quick email or a conversation or a card or something else, but you need usually 7 to 15 touches before they're going to do business. Now, if they're hot and ready to do business with you, don't think you have to take them through the 7 to 15, but that's just the average. That is just the average. Plus, keeping in touch like that, each person that you have is typically worth about 5.5 referrals. So if you're not getting at least a few out of every single client that you've done business with, you probably don't have a strong enough referral system. And number 3, you have to set yourself apart. And here's where the real magic happens. A lot of people are busy and they're just not doing a lot of stuff. Sure, they're showing up to networking. Sure, they're doing this or that. Sure, they're making a phone call, or they'll send the email that says, hey, do you want to do business with me? It's like trying to go to bed with somebody when you first started dating them. Are you kidding me? No, you want to develop that little relationship first. So if you set yourself apart, one of the things, and Lori's going to talk about it, because I did this for years, and it wasn't through send out cards because we didn't have that at that moment, but in the other business I had, which was e-commerce, I hand wrote every single client I ever had over 10 years a personal thank you. And it was, honestly, it was magic. There was just magic that happened. You can't imagine what it's like to get something that says, oh my God, you put a smile on it. I was having the worst day. Or, I can't believe it was like Christmas that I got something, because they would also wrap everything that they had. So what can you do to set yourself apart? I can guarantee you 95, if not 98% of the people are not doing this. You think they are, but they're not, because it takes a little effort. Here's, I created a little video the other day because it just came to me, and I thought, what if we did a challenge for ourselves called the 5-minute miracle? 5-minute, daily miracle, and that's this. What if you just took 5 minutes every day to connect with 5 people? That's it. Nothing big and fancy. We think we gotta do an hour over here or 2 hours there. I gotta sell for 4 hours. You don't have to. What if it's just 5 minutes? Just challenge yourself for the next 2 weeks to do a little 5-minute miracle and connect with them on that heart-to-heart place, that real place, not just how can I sell you, or hey, I've been thinking about you, can we do this? Or maybe it is setting up a meeting or something, but you don't have an agenda to sell them in the meeting. Just 5 minutes to make 5 people's day. Now, you can do more than 5 people, because I am the overachiever. Anybody else? Overachiever? Yeah, I'll probably do more, because what's going to happen, I know, is you're going to get hooked on this. Because the more times I reach out to people, you don't give to get, but you're going to get so much back. It's going to become like this obsession, because you can't help but feel good in your life when you're making other people's lives amazing. And so finally, the 4th pillar is morning magic. And this one is a game changer. This one is a giant game changer. It's so simple. You're going to think, are you kidding? But you will probably make more progress in your business in 30 days than you probably have in the past 6 months, and that is this. What is the number one thing you can do to move the needle on your business today? Don't worry about tomorrow, next month, next week, right now. Every morning, you just ask yourself, what is the number one thing? And I mean to move the needle. I'm not talking the busy work. I'm not talking client work. I'm talking moving the needle on your business. And it shouldn't be a big, gigantic, monstrous thing. It should be one simple thing that you can do. Maybe it's a set of phone calls you can make. Maybe it's some meetings you can set up. Maybe it's a project you've been working on and you need a key piece done. Maybe it might be writing a piece of your book. I'm reminding myself, hello. Whatever it is, it has to be the number one thing. And if at all possible, here's the key, you must do this first. Now there's a practical reality. If you've got a 7:30 networking meeting, you're probably not going to, but the minute it's done, you really need to schedule that in so that you can get that done. And here's why. Because you're setting yourself up for success right from the beginning. You're giving yourself a win from the word get-go. The rest of the day is just pure bonus. It's just pure bonus, all the other stuff. Because you're going to work with clients, you're going to do the other things, but if you do the number one thing that'll move the needle on your business the most, the very first thing that you start your day off, you can't not win that day. You've already won. You've already won. And that will be a game changer for you. And it will not only do that, but it will boost your confidence. And one of the biggest things I see, that goes back to the fear monster, is the confidence. It eats and erodes away at our confidence. So if you're doing something right from the get-go that starts the day for you winning, then your confidence will soar through the roof. And once you're confident, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. Next actions, because I never like to leave anybody without something to do for homework. So at the bottom, just write at least one thing. That's it. One thing that you need to do today that will move the needle on your business. Even if it's a small thing, just a small step. Just take a minute and write one thing that you're going to commit to yourself to do today that will move that needle. If you want to write more than one, I'm not going to do your hand. So, and finally, if you are having trouble getting more customers or clients, I did create a resource because I kept getting asked this question and seeing this question, and I have a resource. If you want that resource, either drop your card in the little pink bucket or just let me know and I will send that resource over, called How to Get More Clients. Super simple. Any questions? Anything I can help you with? Any questions I can answer? Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so